the screen that you get? Because everything seems to be dark on it.
Gee, it shouldn't be. My thought would be, as long as when you're looking at your monitor normally, Cyril, everything looks good, but when you bring up Final Cut, everything seems a little dark.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. I've never had that issue.
I've looked in preferences to see any ways to lighten it up, and
my thought would be that there shouldn't be any issue in terms of when you're looking at the program, that there would be a difference between the monitor and the program itself. So I'm not sure what that's all about. It's almost something I'd almost like to see it. I wonder if you could somehow put up some sort of a test pattern, or, like a grayscale kind of thing on your monitor, do a screenshot, then bring that same test pattern, that grayscale, into Final Cut, do a screenshot and see what it looked like. That would be interesting test.
okay.
I have Final Cut Pro. I just started trying to learn it, but I don't have that problem. It's normal on my computer. I'm on a Mac.
Well, maybe you can just brighten the screen. You've got that control for that particular app.
Yeah,
Give it a try. Thanks, guys.
that might mess up, your movie, your colors and stuff when you go to show it, because now you're adjusting the color of the screen, not the actual movie itself, the clips.
I would agree with that, Ron. Definitely. I don't think you'd want to have that issue of, you got it looking good in Final Cut, now you output it, you show it to everybody, and it's a stop too bright or something, or a stop too dark, whatever it would happen to be. So I would try the grayscale thing. Do you have anything like that you could put up, Cyril, a file? If not, I can try to send you something.
Okay, why don't you send me something?
Okay, I'll do that for you. No worries. I'll make a note. Otherwise, I will forget.
Yeah, if I don't write it across my forehead, I don't remember it for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, I remember when the teens started writing on their hands to remember.
So Ron, how is your progression from iMovie to Final Cut going?
I'm just starting. I've had it for a while, but I just never used it because iMovie was pretty easy. So I'm just starting with it. I really got a heck of a deal on it. I've had it for about a year. A professor in England, they bought too many for their college. And so he sold the copy for $50.
Oh, wow.
And I bought it. And, it just went right in. He gave me the password and the whole bit. And I need to change my lighting. I see a little dark here.
Well, $50 is a great price to pay for it, Ron.
Oh, I know. So, but I've just started looking at it, and I looked at a couple videos on it, on YouTube. So I'll start playing with it a little more.
I would, just as a quick suggestion for you, Ron, YouTube is a great place to look up stuff when you're trying to make that transition. So if you, from iMovie, type in a question into YouTube and you'll be amazed at the information. Somebody will have an answer on it, a video, and it'll help you out a ton.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I also belong to lynda.com, and they have totally transferred over to LinkedIn. And so I went ahead and, transferred my account. But I think the Camera Club has some accounts with them. And those are full tutorials on whatever subject.
I just saw Al Crawford in his class did a video from her, and you can take and put like a clip into Lightroom because Lightroom does not do videos, but you can put a clip in. What you do is you highlight all the whole clip, and you can adjust the colors, anything you want to for that clip. And then what you do is you export it back out and use it in your movie.
So Grace, are you saying that as Camera Club members, we have a way into LinkedIn via Linda without having to join Linda?
I believe the Camera Club owns maybe one or two accounts with Linda, which now, somebody hopefully is monitoring that and getting it transferred over to LinkedIn. Holly, you might know on that.
I don't. Although it does sound familiar. I know Linda Gregory has used it a lot, used LinkedIn or lynda.com, but probably Phil would be the one who would know that stuff.
Probably.
Would somebody be willing to check in with Phil and provide information next week on that we could, I could send out in our email so that, with the links or whatever on the, how to be able to do that through the Camera Club, if that's available?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah.
So Grace, ever since you've started to use Linda through LinkedIn, have you been getting a lot of promotions from LinkedIn?
No, I haven't. In fact, I'm not sure that I have spent much time going in, and there was a I think a way to an account that has ads and doesn't have ads, and I probably picked the one that doesn't have. I did it a month or two ago, and I don't remember exactly how I made that change.
Does anybody have videos to share today? I know that Grace does.
I have a commentary I want to bring up.
Okay,
Can you hear me okay?
barely.
Barely.
I mean, I can hear you. How's everybody else?
But sort of faint.
Oh, really? Wow. All right. Over the years, I've made a lot of different presentations with video and the different softwares that we've been talking about on the SIG. And I decided I wanted to put it all on one drive that I could give copies of to my various kids for posterity. And I did some research recently again after years back when I looked into it, and now came up with a SanDisk SSD drive. And I don't know if any of you are using this kind of thing, but I'm just starting into it and was doing registration for it this morning. But you can get 1 terabyte and 2 terabytes and 4 terabytes, something like that, in this size drive. Now, SSDs are fairly expensive, but considering the utility of it, I can get all of my presentations on this one little thing. And it seems like a real good way to try it. So I'm going to try to get them on sometime today. Has anybody else been using anything like this?
Yes, I have. I have two. I put all my photos and everything on. I have 2 of them and one other big external hard drive.
Yeah, and I use a small one too. It's not SanDisk, it's Western Digital, but
Same idea.
same idea.
Yeah, but his is SSDs as opposed to the ones I use, the small ones are mechanical.
Yeah, so I had the Western Digital. It might be the same as Holly's. It's about 4 inches square, a little larger than that. The battery was good for 10 hours and it had an SD slot in it. So you could just take the card right out of the camera and stick it in and it would copy everything over. It worked very good. I had a 2 terabyte drive and it ran, I'm gonna guess about 150, 170 when I purchased it. But it was
I
really
think Ron froze up.
I use WD My Passport.
Yeah, that's the
it's
one
really-
I have.
It works very well. I have two of them.
Yeah, that's what I have. Well, I have a bunch of these.
Yeah. And then I put a lot of videos on the little memory disk things. So someday somebody's gonna have fun looking at everything.
Well, I'm kind of
Well, if-
using this for permanently archiving things. And it's just recently that they brought these SSDs out in large terabytes, so you can really get everything on. I'm not using it to back up things as I do my photography from day to day. I'm using it to put all the presentations on in a permanent way. And it's just amazing the size of it that they're doing right now.
Yeah,
Jim,
Jim,
is it-
I saw those on sale at Costco's last year. They're not in the same I looked for them this year. They're not in the same location, and I haven't bothered to ask. But Costco's was carrying those in 1 terabyte configurations last year.
Well, the one that I've got now is called an Extreme Portable SSD. It's a brand new model. I couldn't even get the damn thing registered. I had to call them. They didn't have the registration set up for it. And I had to send them pictures of the drive, the back of the drive, and my original invoice. And they're going to take care of the registration themselves, as opposed to my trying to do it online, which doesn't work as yet. So it's real new.
Jim, what makes it SSD?
It's all electronic inside. There's no moving parts.
SSD, Holly, stands for solid state drive.
Okay,
So the other hard drives that Peg and Grace were showing are mechanical.
Yeah, that's
The
mechanical.
failure is more with a mechanical versus solid state. And as James said, they are very nice, but they are expensive. So, but it would definitely be a more permanent solution.
And they are much faster. Well, it's like a thumb drive, but instead of only being a 4K or 4 gig or 8 gig, they're a terabyte. So it's like they stuffed a bunch of thumb drives into a little tiny box. In essence, that's what it's like. So there's no moving parts in there. It's all electronic.
Is it cordless, wireless?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no.
No,
Well,
Plug
you
it into your
plug it in.
computer.
You gotta either plug it in to charge it. I don't know. Is that
I
a
have my
self-contained
thumb
battery?
drives in a little box also.
Good for you.
this is USB-C
Yeah.
and some other inputs.
Does it have a battery within it?
No.
No,
See, the
Right.
one I had a 10-hour battery in it, but it was a physical hard drive.
So it sounds like you had a Swiss Army knife then.
Well, they're all a little bit different. Just depends upon what you're looking for.
this was about $160. So it's not cheap for what you're getting, but you're getting something very special.
Well, what I liked about the one I had, I sold it, but what I liked about it was the fact you could take it, you didn't have to take a computer with you. So all you had was a 4-inch square little thing, and you just threw it in your suitcase or your bag and you were on your way.
Ron, I saw you selling that in an email. Why did you stop using it?
Because I'm not traveling like I used to, and it's just sort of silly to have it sitting in the drawer, because that's basically what I used it for.
Okay.
The
Well,
difficulty I think is going to be coming is most of these are USB 2s or Bs, I mean, and now they've got C. My latest iPad is a C connection.
That's why you get these things.
Dongles.
They're always selling you something, aren't they?
Yep.
What
And
do you have there,
for the
Grace?
headphone, this one is USB regular to C. This one is
Okay.
a headphone jack to C. And I
Okay.
have another one somewhere around here that has HDMI power and regular USB to C.
Yeah, they always get you buying something.
Peg, there's going to be able to insert a chip in you, so you don't need those dongles anymore.
You
Yeah.
go
I mentioned
first.
this too, now that you brought it up earlier. This I've had for trips. This is a Western Digital wireless SSD. So I can use this to take care of all the pictures I'm taking along on my trip and just save them on the road without having to have a computer like you were talking about.
Right.
But it's a different kind of a device.
That's the one Ron was talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the one
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But that's wireless, and so your camera has to have wireless, so.
Or you can plug in, it still has plugs in it. You
Plug
can
in.
put
Yeah.
it, you can put an SD card into
Got
it
it,
or USB.
got it. Okay, yeah,
Here's the port.
I see, yeah.
Peg, just go to Amazon, you can get anything you want.
Oh, I love Amazon. We should have a gadget show sometime.
That would be fun.
Well, we did when we had classes, remember?
Yeah,
We would have
Yeah,
we
we have
one
gadget
class every
shows.
year. Everybody
Yeah.
brought their toys in.
yeah.
Yeah, we should do
I
one
wanted to ask,
in a
has
while.
anybody heard from Doug?
No.
Remember Doug, who was on the multimedia class?
Yes, I have emailed him a couple times. He does not have internet, so what he does is he goes and sits outside of the computer club or the camera club when they were open and uses that. So that's why he's never on. Because he
Oh, I
doesn't,
miss seeing him.
yeah, he doesn't have internet at home.
He could go to McDonald's. They have coffee.
Yeah, there you, I'll email him.
Yeah.
And Holly, you're back in town?
Yep. Yeah, it'll be a week tonight. So
Wow.
we're settled in, and actually we're gonna go see Phil and Sue tonight, so I can ask him about that stuff.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Does it feel good to be back in Green Valley?
it does. Yeah, it does. The weather's been absolutely terrific.
Yeah,
Mid
it has
80s every afternoon, and things are in nice shape. It's beautiful out. Since I've been here, I've seen a coyote, a bobcat, quail, roadrunner, all on the property. So,
Are they members of GVR?
yes. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, it's good they're back.
Thank you. Yeah, I only had Mexican food once so far. Got to get going on that one.
Before you head off into the videos, Sherry,
Yeah.
when I came in, you were talking about color and screen brightness.
Yeah.
There was some discussion about a grayscale thing, which prompted me to go look at the website because it used to be on there, and I'll fix it. I'll show you a screen very briefly. I will put these files on the website under educational resources.
Awesome.
Where is it? Can you see those color scales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, those are JPEG files, and I will make them available on the website today.
Thanks, Mike.
That's very nice. Thank you.
What is that called, that, what you just showed us?
One of them is a grayscale test form, and the other one is a color chart that Apple put out. These are what I use to tune the color on my screens, and they seem to work pretty well. I had another one that had photographs on it. I'll have to dig around and find that. I got these from Stephen when he get a color science class.
Mhm.
Cool. So you'll have those up on our website
Today.
today? Very cool. Okay. Awesome. Are we ready to go into videos, or anyone else have something to discuss? We know that Grace has a video today. She was so inspired last week. Does anyone else have one that they would like to share as well? Grace, you're on. Oh, yes. Ron, did you have something?
No?
Okay, Grace, you're on.
Okay, well, the the thought was, what do I have pictures of that I could use to put together a video? And then I went to looking for a video that I had done on our cruise up the west coast of Africa. We went from Cape Town up to Morocco, and that was like 30 some days and 17 countries and a bunch more cities. So I had put together a video at that time, and I sent the test. Well, actually, I put it on my website so anybody can see it. It's under videos and it's at the bottom, but it's 17 minutes because it tracked the whole trip. It was kind of made, I think, for a travel log. So the discussion was that really that's too long. Obviously, we're not doing things that long anymore. So I was in discussion and many emails back and forth between Kevin and Barb. They're my collaborators on this little test. And I came up with dividing it into some subject matter, not chronological. And so I've put together one it's 4 minutes. It exceeds the 3 limit by a little bit, but that's how long my music was. So and the music was shot, recorded, both on site. So it's authentic music at a concert that I attended. So let's see, I've got to get it up and running. So I'm going to click it and then pause it. I've got the, okay, back to here. Share the screen. I've got the proverbial black in the front, so you just be patient on that one. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to optimize. Stop it, because I didn't do the 2 little things I'm supposed to click down here, audio and sound. Okay. Now, should be playing.
I think you hit the wrong one.
I think I hit the wrong one. There we go.
The West African Odyssey cruise aboard the National Geographic Explorer went from Cape Town, South Africa, north to Morocco along the west coast of Africa. At almost every dock and stop, there were musicians and performers. The music was regional, and the people were beautiful in their colorful clothing.
Apply alla batteria.
Beautiful pictures as usual.
Wow.
Great photographer, Grace.
Very good.
Very
Well,
nice.
Love the children.
yeah, that's, they were always fun. And
Wow.
so Kevin, I did the best I could with the fades on the verticals.
Sure. Well, you know, the thing I'll have to play with that a little bit in iMovie to see if there's something, and again, I don't know that program real well, but I'll see if there's some way that it can fade in and out a little bit better for you. But I love what you did. And I also really love you incorporated more of the video that you had within the slideshow. As we talked about at the beginning, that little bit of the band playing was great. And then at the end, it was great. But then that was a nice surprise to see all that other video in there. So I really love that incorporation of video and stills in a presentation like that. So great job on that.
Yeah, I know you hadn't seen that version.
Yeah, I really like it. That really came out nice.
Nice job, Grace. Because Kevin and I had seen the original one, and so this was just pinpointed, you know, the interest of the people, and just very nicely done. Good job.
Yeah, it was beautiful people. Grace, what were the black bars at the top of each photo?
I didn't have black bars.
I did.
didn't have black bars.
I did.
I did.
I
I
did.
think it's a bandwidth thing. It seemed like at times it moved around just a little bit, but it was when you see this on YouTube, Grace, you might see what we're talking about.
All right.
And what is it, Kevin?
My assumption is it's just that somehow there wasn't enough bandwidth going through. I don't know. You know, the thing you might try is, Grace, just try playing just a little bit at the beginning for us, because it basically was throughout the video.
Really? Now, because the pictures were set to fill the screen, so I don't think it was black bars because of that. You want me to?
Yeah, just play a little bit of it. Just pick it up in the middle somewhere, and we can do a screenshot for you. And if it's playing again.
Yeah.
More of a dark gray
Yes.
than a black.
Sarah's right.
And it was just at the top?
There was a couple of spots.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna, here's something with video and, okay, I have to come back to, with some video and some stills. I'll watch for it. Here we go. I have to play.
Maybe have to play it. I'll
There it is.
It's still there.
Yep.
Oh, there are the-
Top, middle, and top right.
Yep.
Okay, I don't see them on mine, and that's what happens with with things. You know, the person showing it looks good, and so I don't know. I've got my best Wi-Fi on for me.
Something to do with Zoom?
I think it's a Zoom thing.
Zoom thing.
Yeah, here, I'll share my screen. I did a screen capture. Hang on.
Oh, good.
There we go. So you can see on the top, in the center, and
Yeah.
the top. And I've never seen that before in Zoom, so this is something that's new, but it's basically in the same spots that the first time that you showed it to us.
I know what, I'll bet. My, the bar that says stop share, that little Zoom bar, and then up at the top in the left, on the right-hand corner is the little video that I had compacted for all the viewers. That is what it looks like.
Were you showing that full screen, Grace?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, try moving the video down in your on your monitor, and then just do a quick look for us again. Do a quick test.
Okay, you want the, oops, didn't do that one right. Didn't do that. Okay. Move it down so
Yeah,
that those things don't show
Yeah,
over the top of it.
yep.
Okay. Let's go back, share the screen. Pick it and share. And
Boom.
play.
That's it. That was it. Good, Grace. That's
Okay,
perfect. That was it.
that was it?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Well, we all learned
Great.
something today.
Good.
Don't show up the video is too high.
Okay, so if I had gone full screen, would that have not been there?
You'd have to try it. My assumption
try
is
that.
that still would be there. I don't know if I've never shown one of my videos full screen, so I've always shown it somewhere within the monitor. Has anybody done that? Shared a video full screen?
I always share full screen, so I don't,
Oh, well
I don't
then,
want to do less.
No, I don't. And, but I did notice that share screen bar was over the top of my video. And I didn't know how to get rid of that. Okay.
Can I ask a question? I understand what you did was you had a full length video and you took sections out to make a short video. Is that what you did?
No, I went back and found my original video clips and photos. I did not use anything.
I know, but how did you shorten it?
I totally started over.
Oh, with your original pictures, okay.
Right.
I thought maybe you took a full, and somehow I thought, how'd she do that? Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, I completely started over again.
Started over,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Gotcha.
I was going to use a piece of music that Kevin sent me, which was like just under 3 minutes. And then he liked the video, the audio, the music from the authentic and so forth. And I don't know if that bothered you. You could tell that we were at a dinner show, really. And you could, there were people in the background talking a little bit, and there was some, silverware clanking and things like that. But it wasn't horrible, I guess. So
I thought, Grace, I didn't think there was any issue with that. And if you hadn't have told me that there was silverware clanking and whatever, I never heard any of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
me
I-
neither. I didn't hear anything.
it
I
was
did like-
clanking to the music.
The beat.
Yeah.
I did like that you incorporated the school kids singing and stuff, and you
That
did
was
a nice
great.
job with the levels of dropping the level down on the live band and then bringing the school children up. So you did a really nice job with that. I
Yeah,
thought.
that was good.
Right. And I had to, because I put that whole video clip of the kids singing in at the end, extracted the audio and then moved it down so that I could use it underneath the still pictures. And I was heading for something to say about that. Oh, I know what it was. I actually had to use keyframes on the background music to drop it down over that part, because the ducking wouldn't have worked because it was only under, it was a separate audio. Anyway, I did use the keyframes at the two ends of that clip of the second music.
Great job.
Finally recognized it was Three Blind Mice.
Was it?
I kept
Thank
thinking,
you.
what was that called?
The tune, I knew it was a recognizable tune, but I hadn't come up with what the topic was.
Blind Mice, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good, Grace. Very good.
I have a question about the volume of music. Okay, so when you're started, I wanted to hear the music louder for myself here at home. And so I raised my volume on my computer and it was as loud as it would go. My question is, do most of you typically make them put your music in at a higher volume than you really intend to have it played so that anybody listening to that can adjust down the volume? Am I making or are you putting it at your comfort level what you think it sounds good with that movie? So what's the best technique in selecting the volume of music for any movie you make?
It's a great question,
Great
Bob.
question. Yes.
Go ahead, Brian. And I'll help
Change it
too.
to no more than about -3 dB. Those color bars bouncing there at the side of the screen, you go by that.
Unfortunately, iMovie does not have that capability.
I was going to say,
Brian.
I don't understand.
No, but we do have the audio and it will peak. So you can look at it and avoid peaking. What I just tried to do was adjust the volume on all the clips so they were relatively similar, because I didn't want to have something come in that was a lot louder than something else or a lot quieter. So in relation to each other, I was trying to make them about the same. I don't know that I succeeded, but
That's one of the things that, because Holly had asked about differences between iMovie and Final Cut, and like if Brian's using Premiere or DaVinci or whatever, you don't have that capability to see what your levels are. So just as a quick example, I'm gonna, like Brian said, -3 at most. I usually run about -6 dB on my sound. And you basically would like everything to be about the same throughout, so that if you've got music, you don't want the music to come in too loud. Now your narration is down, the person's turning it up, then the music comes back in and it's too loud. Now the person's turning it down. So you would like everything to be as even, so to speak, as possible. That's just one of the drawbacks of iMovie, that you don't have that capability. And I know when I first started playing with it on that thing that I did a couple of weeks ago just to try it, that was one of the first things that I saw, Brian, was like, oh my God, they don't even have an audio meter here. I'm just guessing at what sounded good and everything. So yeah, you can expand.
well,
Take
did
it
you
out to
there is an
Audacity.
equalizer.
Yeah,
take
but
it out to Audacity. Does that have a meter?
that I don't know. I'm not familiar with the program.
I'll go check. Hang on.
So my question was, as you listened to mine, that 4 minutes, and it had a variety, the beginning, the narration, the underground music, the audio on some of the video clips. How off was it? I mean, was it relatively similar, or were there pieces that were way out?
Without having that audio meter, Grace, I think you did a great job with the different levels. So to me, about the only consistent thing that I would try to do, since you don't have that capability, is set your volume for one, level, and then just listen as you're listening to it, and just be critical with your ear of, okay, gee, is that narration a little low? Okay, let's raise that up a little bit.
Right.
Is the music about the same? To me, that's a little bit more hit and miss.
Yeah.
Nice to have the ability of being able to see it and on the meters and say, boom, this is where it's at.
Right.
So-
Well, that's what I tried to do, was just listen to it. And if something was jarringly louder or quieter, I just dropped the levels on those clips. Or like I say, I used keyframes on part of it.
We do have the capability of a percentage of sound. And so if you start at 100% with the song that you selected and listen to it against your movie, then there are times that I want that music loud, the whole piece. in general louder. So I might bump it up to, let's say, 120%, and then allow myself, if it's too loud wherever I'm playing it on the TV or whatever, then I just use the volume control for the TV. That, I guess that's part of what I was asking is, I'm not changing anything in the music as far as the volume goes, but I do have the capability of moving that line up and down to a percentage. And should we, is it best to have it a little louder than you might want it so that the adjustment can be made by the people? No, okay.
Okay, let me grab this screen here for just a second. I'm going to take you out to Audacity. Okay, this is Audacity. I'm going to start playing it. Here's that peak meter that we're talking about. And there are, this represents volume. There's nothing else to it. You see where it's cut off there? That is, that's set by normalizing your thing. I'm not going to get into a class on Audacity right now. That is not what I'm trying to do. But what I want to point out is this is free. It's downloadable. There's lots of help on the internet for it. And with this, you can fix your audio. It's actually pretty easy to use. Once a year, Larry Springford was given classes on how to use this.
Right.
And one of the things he talked about was normalizing, and that is bringing everything up to pretty much the same general level. It's easy to use, and it'll do a lot of good for your audio.
Okay, I have a question. When putting together a video like this, where some of the audio comes from video clips, some of it may be from narration, some of it may be from background music that you're putting in.
Yes.
What do you have to pull every piece into Audacity?
No.
Or
Well,
you just play the whole thing?
No, you want to pull it into Audacity, because what I showed you was a single track, and you can build multiple tracks in it, put all your stuff on there, whether it's narration, music, video, ambient sound. And then at the very end, when you've got everything adjusted, you mix down to get a single track that you then take back into iMovie or whatever you're using.
So you
use this if the software you're using doesn't have this capability built in.
So you've got to do that on a final product, because you're compressing all of your tracks down to one audio track to put back in. In other words,
It's called a mix down, and
you can't
Adobe
can't adjust it afterwards.
well, you still have your Audacity file that's got all that stuff built and sitting there. And if you need to adjust, you go back to that, adjust in that. It's non-destructive. In other words, if you change something, you're not ruining your original audio file.
So it's making a copy of that when you're working on it in Audacity? Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Yeah, it's like importing your photos into your bin that you're going to put them on your timeline. When you adjust things on the timeline, you're not changing your original file. It's a non-destructive process.
Okay.
Kevin, feel free to jump in if I
It's just a workflow that I'm a little
foreign to me.
You're saying it right, Brian, and I'm not up on Audacity at all. I think that's one of the things that when you get a piece of software like Final Cut, Premiere, DaVinci, something like that that's more advanced, you don't have to do these workarounds
That's right.
to do all this. It's a bunch of extra work that you would not have to do. That's why as you start, like for Ron and Ciro, these guys are trying to learn this program, you'll find that it's complicated, yet some things are a lot easier. So,
And it's also transferable. Once you learn the principles in one of these things, then it's easy to move it over to another. I was out of my mind. I learned audio processing on Adobe Audition. And no, none of you want to go there. I don't even go there anymore. So that I'm basically using what's in DaVinci Resolve. It's very similar to this, and I brought what I used elsewhere into it, so I didn't have a big learning curve. Audacity is a great place to start.
Maybe next winter, when we can meet over at the center, we could have actually a session out there in the lab with people sitting there with some, some songs, and you could help us with that, Brian, and show us what it is capable of doing and how to do it.
Actually,
For the level up and down of 100%, 120%, trying to get the sound I want, on my iPhone.
See, when you do it by percentage like that and you go to 120%, you're going to peak.
Yeah.
You are going to get distortion that way.
Okay. So I should always keep it at 100%.
no,
No,
not necessarily.
keep it at 97 or something like that. Keep it at 95. I mean, if people can't hear it, well, maybe they're like me and they wear hearing aids in both ears and they can just turn the volume up.
Okay, so for those of you who do use iMovie, if I can pull up and share this, so you could get an idea of what we're looking at. You see the screen? Now,
Yeah.
do you see the bars? I'm
Yes.
going to move this down so
There you go. Lower
There- Yeah, I'm lowering. I'll leave the bar up there because I need the audio track at the bottom.
You're fine.
Okay, so basically we have, we have the ability to move up and down the volume here. And so we just can move the volume up and we get a percent, and I don't know what
Wow.
I had it at. And so this is a situation where it's ducking. And so I've set this one right here, down here, which is my narration, to duck the other clip. And that's why the music is here, ducked. And I've pulled in for a fade in on that. So that's the background music until I get down here to the kids singing. And notice here's where I had to put the keyframes in because I only wanted to duck this under the audio here. And then brought it back up again at that point. And then the rest of the music is basically all level, but I'm not sure exactly what percent it is. And we do have the ability to just pull it down or pull it up. And if I move that a little bit, it wasn't very much. Anyway, that's just a general idea of how I have to work with. And on this one, I have a video clip. That video clip actually does not match. I'm not using the audio from that video. But it doesn't matter, I don't think. You couldn't tell whether he was playing the same strings or what on that.
I would agree.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of did by ear, didn't you, Grace? And
I
it
did.
sounded good.
Yeah, I
And
did.
I've used iMovie. I don't think I do as good a job. My ear isn't very good, but I try to keep it below where you have those flares that indicate it's too loud.
Right.
And also how things were recorded depends on how they sound. So you might play one thing at a level of, say, 70, and it sounds too loud because it was recorded at a higher level. It's in your computer at a higher level.
Right, right. That's why it's by ear. You just have to
Yeah.
kind of play it. But if I go to Final Cut, then I'll have to learn that one.
Right, same here. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that too.
Yeah,
Kevin, maybe you said you could do a demo for me, huh?
I would be happy at some point to do a demo in the, like for Ron and Ciro too, you know, maybe at some point we have a little goodie where we get together and do a Zoom thing. And if you're having some questions about, gee, how do I do this or how do I do that? We could give a little demo and try to help you with some of those things. And then also show you some tricks and some things that I do with my video stuff, and also some files that I'm able to use to enhance the video and stuff. So I'll be happy to do that at some point. So as you guys, Ron and Ciro, as you guys keep moving along with the program, you know, let's we'll have a little get together on Zoom, and we can, anybody else that wants to join in can come and see what's going on. And probably it's going to be a little, you know, a little Latin or Greek for some of you that are on different programs. But as Brian said, a lot of the concepts maybe would transfer and you can work it in your editing program.
so something else I had in my mind.
I was actually thinking of seeing if we wanted to incorporate like some little mini things like what you're talking about, you know, like maybe taking 20 minutes of our session. We haven't been, you know, overrun with videos, and maybe give us like a taste, like if once you have your, like the time that's set up that you want to do a more detailed presentation, then maybe you could give us a preview and then, you know, and then the time and stuff, and that, so that we could know, you know, if we wanted to be able to go into more detail with it. Am I making any sense?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Training session.
I think it's like anything else. I think you have to get into it and try it. It's like me going the other way and trying to figure out stuff in iMovie and helping Grace. We just as a quick goodie, we talked about, she has these vertical pictures, which I thought was great. She was going to put one up and then put the next one up. And instead of just putting them both up at the same time, in Final Cut, I know how to do it, where I'd say, okay, dissolve this in nice and slow, wait a couple seconds. Now bring this one in. Now this one comes out. Now the next one comes in. This one comes out. And do that softly. And instead of it being so jarring that something is boom and then back, boom and then back. So anyway, that's kind of where that all discussion has been going.
And I couldn't do that fully, but I figured out a way to kind of do it.
Well, I think you did a good job.
I can show you at some point in time at the end or whatever, what I actually did but not right now.
Oh, we need the same kind of thing for those who use Premiere or a different program for the PC.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is maybe at some point, one of the things, Sherry, we could do is when we send out an email, we could write back and say, this is what program I'm using. Like Arlene uses Premiere, and I'm not sure, you know, some of the other PC programs that are being used, Gene's using or whatever. And then maybe you could have like a little support group, so to speak, where if we've got 2 or 3 people or more on a program, they could ask questions of each other and help each other out. That might be kind of nice too.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
And also it just crossed my mind as we're talking about video editing, and iMovie doesn't have a really great way of editing your videos. But your iPhone, the latest iPhones, the latest operating systems have a huge amount of video editing options because all of the photo editing options are available for you for the video. So you can change the exposure, the brightness, contrast, definition, sharpness, leveling, perspective. All of those things are available on the iPhone for the videos that were shot on the iPhone.
Is that
May
iPhone
not have known
11 or 12?
Well, I think it has probably from the 11 up, possibly, but
11,
part of that's
okay.
built into the operating system. And I think it came in with iOS 13 or 14.
Grace, is that also available for the iPad too? I know the two systems have separated.
It's a function of the operating system, I believe. But you say iPad.
For the iPad.
I'll look and see. I don't know if I have any videos on here, but let me, because I don't.
The iPad doesn't have the editing capability of I don't think.
Well, I'm just going to look at a video here.
Okay.
I don't have very much. Okay, there's one edit. What do I want to edit? These right here. Yes, it has all of them.
Oh, it does.
Yes, it does.
I haven't tried it on that.
You can bring up the shadows, you can bring down the highlights, you can change the exposure. Yes, it has all of those same editing options. And let me look at the, and it also has the perspective options also for the under the crop tool.
Kevin, is that, are those functions in Final Cut?
Oh, you have all kinds of functions.
Yeah,
For actually editing your video, yeah, you do,
Oh,
right?
everything, the still photography and yes.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Trust me, Brian's laughing too, because he knows there's all kinds of possibilities when you get into
Okay.
these advanced editing softwares. It just, it makes your life a lot easier. Once you figure things out, that is the first part of it, is figure it out. But once you figure stuff out, boy, it's nice and it's fast. It does a great job.
Okay, so just let me.
I need to wrap us up because
Okay.
it's because I have to sign off to move on. So I guess if you want to continue conversation, you probably will need to use a personal one to reconnect, I guess, because I've got to close this one.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
See you all.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
See you next week.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sherry.
Mario.
Good job again.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.